Live, local, and talking about the teams that matter to you. This is Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by McMahon's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
And welcome in. This is Talkin Sports, not with Jim Shovlin. DC Hendricks filling in for Jim this week. As Jim is still recovering at home, he had a successful open heart surgery and is resting at home with his new companion, by the way. Shout out to Jim Shovlin and his new companion that he got. Well, the companion is more for his other Chihuahua, Ziva. But he has another Chihuahua to welcome to the family named Squirt. So Shovlin is still resting at home. Shout out to Jim Shovlin and the family. And hopefully he is resting. He's probably listening right now. So probably listening to everything I'm saying. Probably stressing. But he'll be back as soon as he's able to come back. All seriousness, definitely thoughts and prayers out to Jim Shovlin and his family. I know he's resting and trying to rest as much as possible. I know if it was up to him, he'd probably be in this chair today, hosting the show still. But I'm glad that at least someone got to him other than me, telling him to stay at home, get some rest. The show will be waiting for you when you come back. I'm sure he's ready to get back in the dugout as well with the Leo Lions. But get that rest, Shovey. This is Talkin Sports. DC Hendricks here filling in this week. We still got a great show lined up. Still got the weekly chats with Shane Albahrani with the Fort Wayne Komets, the playoff bound. Fort Wayne Komets got a big win last night. We'll talk about the Komets victory and a newcomer that had a big showing last night with the Komets. Mike Nutter, it is time to welcome Mike Nutter, the team president of the Fort Wayne Tincaps. It's time to welcome back Mike Nutter for those weekly Tincaps chats right here on Talkin Sports. So he will be on the show as well, as the Tincaps got the season going last night, and a loss, unfortunately, but it's a long season, so only up from here. So Mike Nutter will join us, and of course the weekly Cougar chat with Mike McCaffrey, the vice president of student life and athletics for the University of St. Francis. So I'm in the studio alone, so to make the show a whole lot easier and smoother and a lot less awkward for me, the text line is open, sponsored by Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana at 260-447-8500. That's 260-447-8500. The text line is open. That's how you can be a part of the show and make it a little less awkward. I'm in here alone. So if you got any thoughts on the sports weekend or the upcoming weekend sports, I know it's very busy, actually. I know, I'm in a Masters pool for the first time ever. So you know how you can do fantasy on the ESPN app? You can do the tournament challenge, the bracket challenge. You can do fantasy baseball, fantasy football, fantasy basketball. I'm in a Masters pool. It was a $10 buy-in, winner take all. And so the Masters begins on Thursday. And so in this Master pool, you can select 5 golfers. And this is the first for me. I'm generally not the biggest golf guy, but I grew up obviously, watching golf in my house. My dad's a big golfer. Actually used to pretty regularly, like at least once a week, would golf. But you pick 5 golfers, and it's essentially the one category is a past winner. So you pick 5 golfers. There's 5 different categories. One is past winner. Another category is wild card. There's one category for their first ever Masters. There's a couple other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm in a Masters pool. Got to pick 5 golfers. Past champion, United States golfer, international golfer, first timers, and wild card. So my 5 golfers, and for all you golf fans out there, this is where you can weigh in and tell me how bad I am. But my past champion that I picked for the Masters is John Rahm. United States, I got Scotty Scheffler, who is a heavy favorite to win the Masters in terms of betting odds. International, I picked Tommy Fleetwood as my international. First timer, I got Ryan Gerard, who is a name I've been hearing a little bit. Now, first timers, admittedly, I'm not going to know a whole lot about them. But that is a name I am familiar of. And wild card, I went with Zach Johnson. That one was a little bit harder because some big names in wild card, and I didn't want to go the cliche route. Like, for some reason, Rory McIlroy was a wild card. Like, what are we doing? Why would Rory McIlroy be a wild card? So for you golf fans, yeah, Masters takes place this week. So looking forward to that as well. It's baseball season. High school baseball season has been underway. If you've been listening to the 260 Dugout podcast, the one that played earlier this morning, I was able to play a couple of interviews from the Northeast Indiana High School Baseball Media Day, and I was able to play the Snyder Panthers and Homestead Spartans previews for this upcoming season. The Homestead Spartans baseball is already 3-0. They've already beaten Fishers. They started a victory over them 5-4. They beat Northrop 12-2 and just beat Center Grove yesterday. So big victory for Homestead. And I've been telling people this team's loaded. They got a lot of guys, 5 seniors, and that doesn't even include their underclassmen, already slated to play college baseball. So yeah, Homestead's I believe is gonna have a big season this year for high school baseball. But yeah, high school baseball is underway. Major League Baseball is underway. So very excited to get back out to baseball fields. And you guys, I don't know if you guys may know, but every year I go to at least one Major League Baseball game. And I've been trying to venture out to visit new stadiums. You know, we have a lot of great stadiums in the area, and I still have yet to go to a Cincinnati Reds game at home. And I still have yet to go to a Detroit Tigers game at home. So those are my 2 goals this year. I want to check those off my list. For some reason, those are the 2 ones in our area that I haven't been to. I've been all around the United States to see baseball games. I've even been to the Angels Stadium. It's weird, but I have yet to see the Detroit Tigers at home or Cincinnati Reds games. So MLB season is underway. Big thing, too, that I wanted to bring up, too, is something I'm very happy about. And the NBA, for some of you that may know, that may have used to listen to me on the Sports Rush with Brett Rump, or even on here, or my own Sunday sports show, Sideline Sports Show, I've always been a huge basketball fan. But for some reason, over the past, it's been about 3 or 4 years, my love for the game of basketball, at least the NBA, has completely died. To me, it has become completely unwatchable. Not only are the Indiana Pacers absolutely terrible right now with only 18 wins, at least they've gotten 3 over the past couple of weeks. It's gotten to a point, and there's so many different layers to why the NBA is so bad, in my opinion, right now. But the biggest issue, I believe, is just the stars not playing. It feels like every time I turn on the TV and I'm scrolling and there's an NBA game on, I'll turn it on, and the best player isn't playing. And I think finally, Sham Charania, who's reporting on this last night, where there's an investigation currently right now between the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo because they're conflicting stories. The NBA is investigating the Bucks for the handling of player participation policy and potential inconsistent statements regarding the health of Giannis Antetokounmpo. So for those who aren't familiar, the 2023-24 season, the NBA began a new policy where only 1 star is allowed to rest, which is, I guess a step in the right direction, where, there's a resting problem in the NBA. Shortening the season, I don't know if that's the fix. I don't know if shortening the NBA season would fix this problem. But every time I turn the TV on, you'll turn on a Bucks game. Giannis isn't playing. He's healthy. He just doesn't want to be there. And the Bucks are just, all right, you don't want to be here, we'll sit you. You can't do that. You can't do that. There's still season ticket holders. There's people purchasing tickets to come watch your team. And quite frankly, without Giannis, who wants to watch the Bucks? Let's just be honest. I've turned on so many, and I know he's been dealing with knee injury, they called it, but when you look at the report, it's literally just, I've seen just soreness in his knee. And I'm talking about Steph Curry. So I get it. He's getting up there in age, but this might be a personal thing because I've went to every Pacers Warriors game for the past 7 years, and every time Curry isn't playing that game. But this year, I know he's missed 27 games because of this knee. And it's who wants to watch the Warriors without Steph Curry right now? It is an ongoing problem in the NBA that I believe really needs addressed, and it looks like it may be finally getting addressed because the NBA is investigating Antetokounmpo and the Bucks because both Antetokounmpo and the Bucks have told league investigators different stories. Milwaukee informed the NBA that they don't believe Giannis is ready to play, where Giannis is telling the league he wants to play, but the team will not medically clear him. So, yeah, NBA is a mess. And, I don't even think I'm alone on this. I think everyone is just does anyone even know that the Detroit Pistons are the number one team in the East? Does anyone even know that? Probably not. I probably just told you for the first time. NBA is dead. Like, another example, a big accomplishment happened last night, not enough people are talking about it. For the first time in NBA history, a teenager scored 50 points in a game. A teenager in the NBA. Cooper Flagg. The first time in NBA history, a teenager scored 50 points in a game. Where is this there's nobody talking about this. They talked about it on SportsCenter for like 30 seconds to a minute. That's a huge milestone. That is a huge accomplishment. Just further proof the NBA is dead, in my opinion. They really got to do something. The All-Star game's dead. There's no excitement with the league. It's going downhill. It really is. So hopefully with this Milwaukee Bucks and Antetokounmpo situation, NBA fixes it, or at least goes in the right direction to change things. One sport that is doing things right and all kind of excitement behind it is Major League Baseball. After the World Baseball Classic, which they do so strategically and do it so well, having that happen right before the start of the season. Now, for some of the players that play in the World Baseball Classic, they may be a little exhausted to start the season, for teams that go a little bit deeper. But it still brings a lot of excitement and awareness to the beginning of the Major League Baseball season. Major League Baseball is doing things the right way. There's a lot of excitement for the beginning of the season, all the way down to the minor leagues. I believe even minor league teams are even bringing in more excitement. You know how many times over these past couple of days people have been stopping me talking about the Tincaps, excited for the Tincaps season? MLB is doing things the right way, so I'm very excited to see how, the game transcends. You got the new Japanese guy for the White Sox that just come over. He began the season with 3 home runs in the first 3 games. He's rolling. It's just, they keep growing, more stars coming into the game of baseball. The World Baseball Classic, again, just brings so much more excitement to it. Baseball is rolling right now, and that's why I'm very excited to talk with Mike Nutter, the president of the Fort Wayne Tincaps, as the season is getting underway. There's supposed to be a home game coming up, so we'll see, weather permitting. It's supposed to be 60 degrees from what I heard, so hopefully the Tincaps will be ready to roll. And if the weather, there's even a weather promise that you can even get a replacement ticket. So we'll talk about that with Mike Nutter coming up later on in the show. Of course, the NCAA tournament, the Final Four, begins later on this evening, and we are your coverage for it all. Be sure to listen to it right here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM, with the coverage beginning right this afternoon. 4 o'clock pregame is when it begins, but the game, I think, doesn't even tip off till around 6:30. But we are your coverage. This will also happen right after the Tincaps, because the Tincaps are at Great Lakes, 12:45 pregame, 1:05 first pitch. So be sure to tune in to the Tincaps at the Great Lakes Loons this afternoon as well. But after that, NCAA tournament men's Final Four, 4 o'clock tip off with men's basketball, and you'll be able to. And who does everybody got? That's another thing too. The first game will be Illinois, Connecticut, and then later on tonight, Michigan, Arizona, the battle of number 1 seeds. My bracket has been toast for a while. Just recapping. So it got better after the second round. I started off really bad, which I usually do. I get way too upset happy. I tell myself every year, chill on the upsets, relax. And I still do it every year. I really don't know what it is. It's a problem. But my bracket got better as things went along. I did have Duke winning it all. So, yeah, my bracket for the rest of the way means absolutely nothing. But UConn, Illinois is going to be a great Final Four. By the way, UConn, I actually just got an article up, IndianaPreps.com. The hero, in case anyone knew, Braylon Mullins, Indiana kid, by the way, hit the biggest shot of the tournament to send UConn to the Final Four, to go back to his hometown, 30 minutes away from his house, from Greenfield, Indiana. Braylon Mullins, who hit the game-winning shot to knock out the Duke Blue Devils. He'll be going close to home. Got to pick UConn in that. I know a lot of people pick Illinois, Big Ten love, yada, yada, yada. I'm still sour about the Purdue Boilermakers, but absolutely excited for the Final Four and looking forward to who's going to be playing for the national championship this year. I got UConn and Arizona. I think that is going to be our national championship, and I believe Unfortunately, I believe whoever wins out of Arizona and Michigan will be playing will be the national champion ultimately. So we'll see how things pan out, but you can listen to the games right here for your home for the NCAA tournament right here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. The text line is open, sponsored by Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana. It is open at 260-447-8500. If you have any thoughts on this sports weekend, what's on your mind, and coming up in this sports week, as I said, the Masters begins. Baseball season is underway. It's a whole lot of fun right now, and you can weigh in on the NBA too, as I've been kind of ranting about the NBA pretty frequently lately. So we got Mike Nutter, the president of the Fort Wayne Tincaps, coming up right after this break. Let's talk some Tincaps baseball. This is Talkin Sports right here on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana is a proud sponsor of Talkin Sports. Goodwill empowers and prepares people for independence through training, personal growth, and work. You help support the Goodwill mission by shopping in any of our 8 stores or shopping the shopgoodwill.com/Fort Wayne site. You can also help by donating any clothing or household items for resale in our stores. Goodwill has been a part of our Fort Wayne community since 1937, helping people with barriers to employment find meaningful work in the community. Go to www.fwgoodwill.org to find out more about Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana.
Dribbles right, spins, jab, steps back, wide open three. That's good. Just brilliant.
With 64 NCAA men's tournament games played, just 3 remain. Coming up Saturday, it's Michigan versus Arizona and Connecticut versus Illinois. Then the winners meet to settle the 2026 men's basketball title. Tune in this Saturday to hear Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA men's Final Four.
At Prestige Heating and Air, your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, we put your comfort first. How confident are you that your AC is ready to keep you and your family comfortable this summer? Instead of crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, contact Prestige. Whether you need a new system or a tune-up, our experienced team is ready to help. As your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, we pride ourselves on top-notch service and products. Visit PrestigeHeatandCooling.com. That's PrestigeHeatandCooling.com.
I-69 Trailer Center is one of the biggest and best in the Midwest when it comes to trailers. You name it, we got it. Trailers for hauling your motorcycle to Bike Week, dump trailers, and contractor trailers. We service all trailers and even rent trailers with no mileage limits or state limits. Rent to try out or buy today from one of the 250 trailers we have on site. Made here, serviced here, sold here in Markle. Just like the name says, I-69 Trailer Center.
I never realized that I'd be taking care of a 2-year-old and a 9-year-old on my own. I think men can be a little stubborn sometimes where pride gets in the way and they may want the help. They may not know how to ask. With my traditions, with the family support in line, and just with my mind frame, I was able to turn a negative into a positive. I knew I needed more tools in my toolbox to take care of these little girls that had just lost their mother. It's time for me to be that father that I knew I could be. I think just being that good role model as well, that models good behavior in front of them, going to work every day, coming home and being able to put on that smile. The biggest reward about being a dad is sitting back and watching your kids be happy.
Never stop being a dad. That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Over the past few years, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected how we live our daily lives. Today, we also face a mental health pandemic that threatens our well-being as we attempt to rebuild our social networks and communities.
The pandemic has reminded us to value family, community, and our human connections. However, it has also left many of us feeling more isolated, confused, and alone, struggling to find meaning amid loss and uncertainty.
Today, 1 in 5 Americans experience emotional and mental health challenges. But many of us do not understand what we are facing or know how to ask for help.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, we understand what you are going through, and we are here to help. Our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all. We work every day to eliminate stigma, combat mental illness and substance use disorders, and advance mental health. If you or someone you love needs help, you are not alone. Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
What is your healing power? Maybe your healing power is helping veterans with PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, depression, anxiety, or loneliness. Is your healing power a simple, heartfelt letter or being a volunteer? It is estimated that over 500,000 current warfighters will return from service diagnosed with PTSD, and 22 veterans will commit suicide every day. Our veterans have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country. At healvets.org, you can find out more about the healing power of pen pals, volunteers, therapy kits, and more. Discover your healing power at healvets.org. Help Heal Veterans, together with you, has been helping one recovering veteran at a time. We are helping veterans heal together. What is your healing power? To find out about your power, visit healvets.org. This PSA is sponsored by Help Heal Veterans.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
And welcome back to Talkin Sports. DC Hendricks filling in for Jim Shovlin this morning, who is listening. And, of course, waiting on the text line. Trying to get connected with Mike Nutter here on Thursday, The Fan 100.9 FM. As we are having a little phone issues this morning with Mike, connecting him this morning. But Shovlin was able to weigh in. He says, Squirts, thanks you for the shout-out, as does Ziva. Yes, if it was up to me, I'd be there with you right now. So shout out to Jim Shovlin. We got a guest in the studio that is going to be joining me after. Of course, the 260 Dugout podcast is, taking off over this past year, and someone I somehow didn't talk to at all in season 1, which I had to make up for it. I had to get him in season 2 for the Tincaps episode. A long time, baseball legend here in the 260. Mike Moss will be a guest on the 260 Dugout podcast to talk a little Tincaps baseball. So as we try to get connected with Mike Nutter here on the for his weekly Tincap chat, I want to go ahead and bring Mike Moss in here on Talkin Sports because it's been a while since you've been on these airwaves. What's going on, Mike?
Baseball's finally underway, so that's one good thing.
That's right. Every time, when I think Tincaps baseball, you're the first one. You're the first person I ever met when it came to the Tincaps, doing the board opping for the broadcast. What year is this for you?
I went on the payroll in 2002, and I got my feet wet broadcasting in 2003, working with Terry Byram, who, after the 2004 season, moved to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the Harrisburg Senators, AA affiliate to the Washington Nationals. He just retired after the end of this past season, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah, so, you've got to, watch and broadcast so many players throughout the years. Just going into this season, just talk about some of the memories that you've had, some of your favorite players you've got to watch and call games for.
Oh, that's an unfair thing to say, DC. first and foremost, I've been blessed to be able to do this. And when hopefully things work out and you get Mike Nutter on the line, he's the one guy that I owe such a great deal of thanks to, because he gave me a chance to get the full-time gig in 2005. But I've covered this team almost with about 2 years exception since they started as the Wizards in 1993, be it I've worked for both newspapers and a couple other stations broadcasting. But let's talk about the Tincaps in particular since 2009, and I'll never forget the start of that year. On the road, win 3 in Lansing, then go to Appleton, Wisconsin, and win 3 against the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. Come home that opening night, James Darnell, it's a home run in the second inning to break in Parkview Field. And the Tincaps shut out Dayton 7-0, end up sweeping that 4-game series. So they began the year 10-0. Would go on to win the only Midwest League championship they've won to date, 94-46 overall, having 2 tough first-round playoff series against first South Bend and then Great Lakes, both times having to come back and win a Game 3, winner-take-all Game 3, and then sweeping Burlington in the championship final. But players, I mean, we've had 235 players, be it Twins affiliate or Padres affiliate, that have gone on to the major leagues. And that 2009 team had 19 players, which I think is still a record for most players, at least at this classification, that played in the same team the same year that made it all the way to the bigs. But I think the most familiar name, DC, is Fernando Tatis Jr., who was here in 2017, but he's just one of many. We digress back to Wizards days when we had Torrey Hunter, and we had Luis Rivas and Chad Muller, who was a catcher in 1998, one of my all-time favorites. Being able to get to talk and spend some time with him. 2 former major league players be our managers, Randy Reddy in 04, 05, and 06, and Doug DeCenzo in 2007, 8, and 9. It's been a joy. Probably unfair to try to think of some others, but there have been so many highlights, so many plays. Go back to the 2009 season, Game 2 of a doubleheader with Dayton, 7-inning game. Simone Castro pitches a no-hitter. Hit one batter, only runner to each base in that 7-inning game. And we've had a couple now, 3 or 4 no-hitters since then. I remember my former colleague John Nolan and I breaking him in, so to speak, in 2013, and we had an 11 o'clock morning game that ended up going 18 innings.
I feel like I remember that.
And just so many, so many games. Parkview Field, and we got the home opener this coming Tuesday night against Lansing. We have played 1,090 regular season games at Parkview Field. Wow. And by the grace of God, and thanks to my granddaughter, I've missed one game.
One game in all
One game in 2017. My granddaughter at the time was a Northside senior, soon to be graduate, and she was in the choir. Mm-hmm. And I get this visit from her. Grandpa, I've got my spring concert. You will be there.
Yep.
Well, I got nudged by her mother, and her grandmother, my wife.
Yeah.
I went to Mike Nutter and I said, Mike, what do I do?
Yeah.
And he said, Mike, you'd better go to that concert.
Absolutely.
Or I'll never get to have you do another game again because they'll kill you.
So with that story, and of course you guys will be able to listen to more as we got. There's so much to unpack. I've been working with Mike Moss for a long time, so there's a lot that we can unpack and will do so on the 260 Dugout. So quickly, that's called the radio tease there, Mike, as we got all kinds of lines sponsored by the Fire Police Credit Union, and the text line is open at 260-447-8500, sponsored by Goodwill's Industries. Well, let's go to the phone line. Is Mike Nutter there?
Good morning, my man.
There
Thanks to technology for somehow, who knows, but I'm on now.
That's
Happy
right.
to excited about another great season of Tincaps baseball.
So I planned all of this. So all of this was planned to give Mike Maz a raise. Did that work out?
Not for him. No, it didn't.
Oh, okay. I was hoping that him only missing the game, I thought that was gonna work out in his favor. I tried, Mike. I'm sorry. All seriousness though, you've been a busy guy throughout this off season. Opening day is coming up right here at Parkview Field. I mean, what's going on in your world right now? Talk to us.
Man, it's absolutely awesome. The boys flew in a week ago today. The first week when they get in town is an absolute whirlwind. It helps when you've got Sam Lewis in the clubhouse, when you've got Johnny Matthews back as the skipper. The venue is looking great. Looks like another day of rain today. And then we're back Tuesday, as you said. And so tons of new food options, tons of new drink options. The ballpark, honestly, DC, 18 years in, looks as good as it ever has. And we're excited to get this one going. I think with the 60-degree guarantee, though, for Tuesday, we're in a little bit of trouble. So if people get their ticket for Tuesday night, they're definitely going to get a free one to come back and see us sometime this month.
Yeah, I was going to say when I seen that post, I'm like, that was brave to do, living in Indiana, that 60-degree guarantee.
Yeah, and up until the other day, I was looking at 58, 59. I'm starting to get a little cocky, thinking, hey, look, most importantly this time of year is that it's dry. But then secondly, like, hey, it's going to be right around it. It's going to be nice enough to get people to come out here. And then I hit refresh, and I think the high on Tuesday is now like 45. But the good thing is it is dry. And then Wednesday and Thursday is into the 60s and 70s and dry. And the rest of the week should be 70-plus with some small rain chances on the weekend. So we've had a lot worse starts and weather forecasts than this to begin, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been times where the entire first month of the broadcast were being postponed because there's still snow. I've been here through a lot of different starts for the Tincaps, throughout, having to do all the rain delays, snow delays, all kinds of stuff throughout these years. But I'm very excited for this season because I was already out there. We seen each other earlier this week, I believe, for the media availability for I can't even say new manager. He's been here, so I really don't want to call him new manager. But it's got to feel good to have a manager come back that is familiar with how you guys run things here with the Tincaps, and also brought a second-half division title the last time he was here. So it's got to feel good to have manager Matthews back.
It really does. And you'll remember, and some of the fans might remember, he was our hitting coach for 2 or 3 years as well under the guidance of Anthony Contreras when he was our manager. And so there's so many cliches in sports, but Johnny Matthews really is a friend of ours. And he's a Padres employee, and he was the roving hitting coordinator the last couple of years over all the hitters in the minor league system. And they came to him and said, hey, our low-A manager left the org. Our Lucas Ray left us to go run the minor leagues for the Toronto Blue Jays. The double-A manager retired. They said, Johnny, we'd like to offer you low-A, high-A, or double-A. You can decide which one you want, but we need you back in the dugout to be these young man's leaders. And he said he took about a second and a half and said, I'll go back with Nutter and the crew in Fort Wayne. And so Iowa is home for him. He's excited to be back in the dugout. He loves that we're making 2 Iowa trips later this year, Illinois and Iowa, so he can get home. Really, really a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, I mean, just it being Tincap season alone, and that was something that, in case anyone knows, too, a little snippet for the Suso dugout, because I was able to interview Coach Johnny Matthews. He's also an avid golfer. He loves.
Oh, big time. Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, he told me all the places he golfs at. So there's a lot of things to get to know Manager Matthews on the 260.
One real quick thing on that, and I don't know if he mentioned it or not. He's so humble, but his dad's been a legend in the game for 40, 50 years. Like, literally, he might have been one of the first people that the Colorado Rockies hired back in the day when they launched, and he's still with them. And he comes from a baseball family. I think his son is an assistant coach at Iowa baseball in the Big Ten after playing there. And so baseball's in their blood, kind of like mine, and he's happy to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing, for people that aren't necessarily baseball fans, one thing that you guys really do well with the Tincaps is the promotional schedule. You do a great job with all of those. Tell us and the listeners a little bit about some of the early ones that they can look forward to.
Absolutely. So the first few nights we'll have magnet schedules. People like putting those up on the fridge or at their office or somewhere around. Family feast, I won't spend too much time on it because we're up against it, but folks should go on the website. We've increased the offerings for Tuesday night food. It's absolutely tremendous. Obviously, Thirsty Thursday later in the week. Friday is a great one always throughout the year with theme nights and different things. And then Saturday and Sunday, special 105 Saturday time, which we absolutely love. Again, still magnet schedules, but Saturday is awesome because it's Military Appreciation Day. We're doing it twice this year, and we're doing it early. So anybody that's listening right now that wonders, hey, have we gotten tickets for that? They're free for the men and women, their families, first responders. Go on the website, submit the thing, and we'll see them out next Saturday, the 11th at 105.
So tell us a little bit about, from your perspective, some of the players. The Tincaps always have, the who's who of who's playing Major League Baseball, who was playing in the World Baseball Classic. There's always the who's who of players that have played here at Parkview Field. But this year, what can you tell us about some of the top prospects we got here in Fort Wayne?
Well, Cash Mayfield started last night, and he delivered. Obviously, we lost 2-1 late in that game. But Cash Mayfield was the number one pick out of high school 2 years ago by the San Diego Padres, multi-million-dollar signing bonus, a lefty that throws 94 miles an hour with a major league changeup. And he went out and threw 3 or 4 scoreless innings last night. He's the highest-ranked prospect we have. And then one of the guys that I want to highlight that's not on all those rankings, and let's see what kind of prognosticator I can be, because I'm here to tell you the guy that's got my eye for 2 different reasons is Alex McCoy. The first reason, 6'6", 270. DC, that is a big young man. Yeah. And so he is one of the nicest guys we've got as well. Absolutely awesome. Big fella, had a double last night. I think he's going to be a fan favorite. He's always smiling. He's literally, he's just huge. He's probably the biggest player we've ever had, and that covers something with Dorshing and Mears and guys over the years. So those are 2 that I'll highlight, and we'll continue to highlight guys over the week. But a lot of excitement, and then a handful, more than a handful, a couple handfuls of returning players, and we like that as well. I think Jack Costello is going to have a bounce-back year for us. And actually a little further up the chain, a guy that's been snake bit by injuries and some other stuff the last 2 years, huge prospect. But the Padre fans and Tincaps fans, I believe, should expect a big bounce-back year from Ethan Salas up in AA San Antonio. He looks good. His mindset's great. His body's great. And it's hard to remind people, he's still only 21 years old, even though he's been in the system 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely, Mike. And once again, all the games will be broadcasted live. A special thanks to you and the Tincaps staff for once again, teaming up with us here at 1380 The Fan to bring us the games, the audio broadcasts. Jaden Taylor and Andy are just, and of course the legend Mike Moss always bring the energy on the broadcast. So once again, all the Tincaps games will be on the air, and we look forward to talking more Tincaps baseball with you. Before I let you go, though, are you a person that, because Major League Baseball is underway as well, earlier in the season, are you one of those people that is like, pretty much dialed in from opening day on from MLB, or do you kind of are you worried about Tincaps?
If she was home, she would be seconding that in the background. And so yesterday it was some Padres day game baseball, didn't go their way in Fenway, and then I switched over to watch Connor Griffin, the phenom for the Pirates, 19 years old, only like the 8th teenager to debut, and a very rare American teenager to debut in the big leagues in his teens. I turned over and watched that. And then last night when it got to be 6:05, I turned on the Tincaps just to see it. But absolutely dialed in on Major League stuff. Doesn't have to be Padres, Tincaps. Had Cleveland on yesterday. Joey Cantillo, one of our former players, started, went 6 innings, 1 run. Gabe Arias had a home run for Cleveland. So I'm watching everything and anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was hoping you would mention the Guardians because they kind of put a pounding on my Mariners.
You guys will be just fine.
I hope so, Mike. But hey, first of many. It's Tincaps season, it's baseball season. So look forward to chatting with you every week, Mike.
Thanks, my friend. Talk to you next week.
Absolutely. That was Mike Nutter, team president of the Fort Wayne Tincaps, joining us here on the Fire Police Credit Union phone line here on Talkin Sports. Text line is open, sponsored by Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana at 260-447-8500. We'll take a break. We'll come back and talk a little Komet hockey, a little playoff Komet hockey. A big win last night from the Komets as they keep rolling, and we'll roll on into the playoffs as they have home ice. Just still waiting to see who they're going to play. So let's talk a little Komet hockey. We'll be right back. This is Talkin Sports. DC Hendricks filling in for Jim Shovlin on 1380 The Fan at 100.9 FM.
Picture this. You're in your car, perhaps heading to a sporting event. Your tire pressure light comes on, your brakes are squeaking, and your dashboard is lit up like Christmas. Where do you go? McMahon's Best One. McMahon's Best One is your one-stop shop for full automotive service and repair. Whether it's a simple oil change or flat repair, to brakes, alignment, engine diagnostics, and more, McMahon's Best One can fix it all. With 8 service centers in Fort Wayne, New Haven, Lima, Ohio, and Bryan, Ohio, McMahon's Best One is here to accommodate you. Visit us at McMahon'sBestOneTire.com to make an appointment today.
Warmer weather brings new challenges to taking care of your vehicle, and the place to do it is Cruzy Automotive Service. The holiday weekends, the summer vacations, trips to the lake. It's all part of summertime activities, but it also puts extra wear on your car. That's why you always want to make sure it's properly maintained and serviced by taking your car to Cruzy Automotive Service. They've been in business for nearly 50 years, serving Northeast Indiana customers. Right now, you can get a full service oil change for as low as $25.99. That's $25.99. Whether it's any kind of routine maintenance or if you have those emergencies pop up and you need service quickly, take it to Cruzy Automotive Service. They're on Lima Road, north of Wallen, south of Till, right behind the Shell gas station. You can call for an appointment at 489-1089. That's 489-1089 for Cruzy Automotive Service.
As student athletes, we want to shine a light on the true team players of every high school sports team, our parents.
Thank you for driving us to practice and cleaning our uniforms.
For sewing concessions and hosting team dinners.
For making signs and painting your faces.
For cheering for our team, rain or shine, snow or heat, at home or on the road.
For the time, money, and energy you spent supporting us all season long.
Thank you for always being there for us.
And for everything you do to help us grow through high school sports.
You make it possible for us to play the sports we love, and we will always be grateful.
Mom, Dad, we just want to say thank you.
I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Thank you to all the family members, friends, and fans who champion our student athletes by buying tickets to your high school's athletic events. This is showing our gratitude. This is supporting education-based athletics. This is your IHSAA.
Baseball season is officially back. The Fort Wayne Tincaps return home for opening night at Parkview Field Tuesday, April 7th, taking on the A's-affiliated Lansing Lugnuts. Make sure to come out of the ballpark and grab a free magnet calendar. For now, Fort Wayne is on the road in Midland, Michigan. First pitch in the Great Lakes Loons and your Tincaps is set on Saturday for 1:05 p.m. with pregame coverage at 12:45 right here on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55-plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast. It's quick. The setup was so easy. It took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each. $30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Oak Cliff Speed Test Intelligence Data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Dress like a pro on and off the golf course this year with apparel from Peter Menswear Collection Trunk Show with a huge inventory of new designs will be at Christopher James Menswear Thursday only with a representative from Peter Millar on hand from noon to 7 p.m. Check out the finest golf shirts in the market and see spring and summer's hottest looks on and off the course. Check out the Peter Millar Trunk Show Thursday only at Christopher James Menswear in Covington Plaza.
The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd. Tincaps baseball is back. Catch every pitch, every play, all season long on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Fort Wayne Sports Station, and your home for Tincaps baseball. From the first inning to the final out, we're bringing you all the action, home and away, as the future stars of the game shine at Parkview Field. Don't miss a moment. It's Tincaps baseball, all season long on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Have you looked at your auto or homeowner's insurance rate lately? Think it's about time to get a competitive quote? Call the Wise Insurance Agency today at 260-747-5373. Located at 7410 Bluffton Road, Wise Insurance is a local company that's been in business for 25 years. Being an independent agent working with over 15 A-plus rated carriers allows Coach Ron Wise to assess your needs and determine the best option for you to give you maximum coverage with the most affordable premiums. The Wise Insurance Agency also offers motorcycle, RV, and watercraft insurance, as well as renter's insurance, flood, and umbrella policies. Multi-policy discounts are also available, and make sure to ask Ron about the good student discount up to 20%. Let Coach Wise show you the fundamentals of getting the right insurance. Don't put it off. Contact Coach Ron and the Wise Insurance Agency team today at 260-747-5373 or find them online at thewiseinsuranceagency.com.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
And welcome back to Talkin Sports. DC Hendricks filling in for Jim Shovlin this morning, right here on Talkin Sports. Pleasure to be with you all. Of course, here until the top of the hour. For Wayne Tincaps baseball on the road at Great Lakes. The pregame begins at 12:45, 1:05 first pitch. Be sure to listen to all the Tincaps broadcasts right here for your home for Tincaps baseball all season long on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Of course, it's time to check in. It's time to go back to the Fire Police Credit Union phone line here on Talkin Sports. And, of course, it's time to talk a little Komet hockey with the one and only Shane Albahrani. Shane, good morning.
Good morning, DC.
My man. Hey, so got to talk about last night. I mean, we're already playoff bound, and then newly acquired Josh Atkinson steps in right away. 2 huge goals in a game I thought was going to go to overtime, by the way. But Komets get a big win last night over the Iowa Heartlanders. Big night.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us. I didn't think we were going to avoid overtime either. But last night was, it is a sloppy game. I don't think anyone's going to be real happy with how we performed last night. It was just kind of a continuation of what happened on Wednesday when the Komets gave up 8 goals but scored 5 and still managed to lose the game. So last night, here the Komets battling for first place, and you played an Iowa team that's out of the playoffs and might be out of the franchise. They're not coming back next season, so they had nothing to lose. They came out and they played great, but the Komets kind of played down to them a little bit, and they were lucky to escape with a win. Which is good. At the end of the day, a win's a win. It's 2 points, and you had to because Toledo, they won their game against Kalamazoo, so the Komets are still a game back of first place. With a game in hand with Toledo, but every game is so important now. I know it's hard to say that because the Komets do have home ice advantage in the first round. They cannot do any worse than second place, but they do want to get that top spot. And so every game really is a playoff game because outside of tonight's game, the return match with Iowa, we're playing nothing but Kalamazoo and Toledo, and we got another game with Indy. Those are all teams that are either trying to get ahead of the Komets in Toledo or teams that are trying to make the playoffs. So the playoffs really going to start here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that's something that has been clear that, the Komets are playoff bound and has been clinched. But for those that, may be a little confused, explain the potential scenario, the potential teams that they could face. As you mentioned, home ice is already pretty much sustained. But who are the potential matchups for the first round matchup?
Oh, you know what, DC, it is still a coin toss. I mean, we really do not know. The fourth spot in the playoff race, the fourth and final playoff spot, goes back and forth literally almost every other day. Right now it belongs to I believe Bloomington hopped back up in the fourth spot, and then Kalamazoo, and then Cincinnati. They're all right there within a point of each other, and they've managed to close the gap now on Indy. Indy was comfortable in that 3 spot, not anymore. Any of those teams I just mentioned could actually catch Indy, and Indy could actually miss the playoffs after being in a playoff spot for much of the season, So nothing is for sure here. Again, the Komets could finish first. They could finish second. And with the teams that they are playing down the stretch, they can decide who they play in that first round, So, if they're able to catch Toledo, the bad thing about the Toledo situation is, yes, we do have a game at hand. Yes, we have 2 head-to-head games with them left at the Coliseum, but they have the tiebreaker, which is regulation wins. So they have a 5-game lead on us, so obviously that's not going to change. So the Komets have to beat Toledo in points if they win the division championship. And that's the difference between, playing Indy in the first round or playing Kalamazoo or playing Cincinnati or playing Bloomington in the first round. And same thing if you get second place. You just don't know. So it's a lot of fun. It's kind of confusing, but at the end of the day, you're still looking at a pretty good playoff matchup. No matter who you play, I still think you're looking at a good possibility of a Fort Wayne Indy matchup in the first round, which would mean the first time we've played a team from Indy in the playoffs since 1991, which is crazy to think. It's been that long that we haven't had a playoff series with Indy. So that's something I actually, if it happens, I very much look forward to it. I think that would be fantastic, but that would probably mean the Komets have to finish second. So, I don't know how to feel. The Komets have been so good on the road this year. Actually, they have 1 road game left coming up next weekend in Kalamazoo. And if they win that game, it'll match the franchise record for most road wins in a season with 25. So that's crazy to think of 74 years. You have a chance to tie a team record. And that's my concern. It's like, all right, if we get the first place at home ice throughout the Central Division playoffs, where does that actually put us? Because we've been so good on the road. So you'll have home ice in the first round. But you know what? It might be okay to not have home ice in the second round. So it's been a crazy season as far as like the schedule goes because we're playing 6 out of the last 7, I believe, at home, which is unheard of. But that's just because we played 13 games on the road to start the season. So the Komets need to figure out they've had some struggles at home, but now is the time to kind of figure it out because you're going to have a whole lot of a whole lot of regular season games to end the season at the Coliseum, and then you're going to play the first 2 games on Sweetwater ice as well.
Absolutely, Shane. Shane Albahrani, the voice, radio voice for the Fort Wayne Komets, joining us here on Talkin Sports. And all I've been hearing, so my daughter she's pretty much a season ticket holder. Her aunt and uncle are season ticket holders and take her to pretty much every game. So over the last week, all I've been hearing about is Princess Night. All I've been hearing about. So tell us a little bit about what's going on tonight at the Coliseum.
Yeah, no, Princess Night was last weekend. It was fantastic. We had 10,000 in the building. It's something I think it started maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's something that hasn't been going on very long, but it has really turned into one of our biggest nights of the year. It's crazy, but it's fantastic. But tonight is superhero night, so we're going the other direction. Go and see all your favorite superheroes, dress like your favorite superheroes, and come on out, and hopefully the Komets will perform like superheroes and get a win over Iowa.
Good joke there. That was a dad joke. That was good. Good stuff, Shane. Hey, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck to the Komets this weekend. And, of course, they'll be back at it on Friday for Blackout Night. And so we'll be back at the Coliseum there. So we'll talk to you next week, Shane. Thanks for coming on.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot, DC. Anytime.
That was Shane Albahrani, radio voice of the Fort Wayne Komets, joining us here on Talkin Sports this morning. That just about does it, as we will exit the show at the top of the hour. Again, a reminder, be sure to tune in to the Fort Wayne Tincaps on the road at Great Lakes. They got the Great Lakes Loons. Pregame starts at 12:45 with the 1:05 first pitch. Be sure to tune in. Your home for Tincaps baseball all season long. Thanks to our guests for coming on this morning. Mike Nutter, team president of the Fort Wayne Tincaps, and Shane Albahrani of the Fort Wayne Komets, but most importantly, Mike Moss, also coming in, pinch hitting as we were having some phone trouble. So thanks to everyone for coming on. This has been Talkin Sports. DC Hendricks filling in for Jim Shovlin on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Podcasts by Federated Media.